How can alright avoid conflict?
It's the ultimate conversational shock absorber. It lets you acknowledge someone without fully committing to their point of view, which keeps things polite even when you're actually disagreeing. You just sort of slide past the tension and keep moving.
Okay. Can it
Nothing's wrong.
sometimes can it sometimes create confusion?
Yeah, it's basically the universal signal that we're back on the same page. If you've been going in circles and someone finally says something that clicks, that all right acts like a reset button for both of you. It clears the air and lets everyone breathe again.
Why do people repeat it like alright, alright?
It's kind of like a mental comma. Repeating a word like all right just gives your brain a second to catch up to what you're saying, or it can be a way to soften a sentence so you don't sound too abrupt. It's less about the word itself and more about the pause it creates. It lets the other person know you're still there and thinking through the next part.
Okay. What does alright with excitement mean?
That's when all right stops being a shield and starts being a spark. It goes from a polite nod to a full on victory lap. It's that huge all right you shout when you finally get the answer right or something awesome just happened. Basically, it's the word's way of leaning in and saying, yeah, this is awesome.
Okay. What does acquired alright suggest?
Wait, what was that? I think the transcription might be acting up again. What did you just ask? I'm totally lost on that last
Okay,
bit.
I'm
I think the
asking. What does acquired alright suggest?
a court as in a courtroom. All right. I have a feeling we're fighting the transcript again, but if you're actually asking about the law, a legal right is basically any claim you can prove and enforce in a court of law. It's the formal version of all right, where it's not just a social agreement, but a protected power. But honestly, it sounds like the app might be hearing court when you're actually saying something else entirely. What were you actually going for?
Okay, I was not asking that, but it's fine. My next question is, can alright sound sarcastic?
Totally. That slow, dragging low, right? That tells the other person you're just going along with it, but you're definitely not happy about it.
How do you know when someone is being sincere?
Wait, mixed in? I think the transcription is playing tricks on us again. What did you mean? Mm-hmm.
I'm asking, what do you know? Like, how do you know when someone is being sincere?
The biggest tell is consistency. I've heard that sincerity usually shows up when someone's words actually match their actions over time. They say they're sorry, but then keep doing the same thing. The words are just noise, with all in the delivery. A sincere all right usually has a softer, more grounded tone, whereas a sarcastic one tends to be too stretched out or too abrupt.
Okay. What emotions might be hidden behind I'm alright?
Oh, there's a whole world of stuff hiding there. Usually it's the I'm too tired to explain kind of exhaustion, or that feeling of being overwhelmed but not wanting to be a burden. Sometimes it's just loneliness in disguise where someone wants to be asked twice just to see if you actually care enough to keep digging. It's the ultimate polite wall, basically.
Okay, how should you respond if you think someone is not really alright?
You just want to be a gentle presence. Something like, I know you said you're all right, but I'm here if you ever want to vent about it. You're not pushing them to open up, but you're leaving the door wide open so they know they don't have to carry it alone.
Okay. Can one simple question make someone feel supported?
Absolutely. Just a, hey, how are you really doing? Can completely shift the energy. Shows you're paying attention and that you actually care enough to look past the I'm all right mask.
Okay, just asking, are you alright to empathy?
Yeah, I'm all good. How are things on your end?
Okay. How can body language reveal whether someone is really alright?
Body language is like the secret subtitles of conversation. If someone says they're all right, but they've got their arms crossed tight or they're avoiding eye contact, it's usually a sign that they're actually feeling guarded. Can often tell a lot just by whether they're leaning in, which shows they're open to connecting, or leaning away, which is like a physical do not disturb sign.
Okay. Can all right start a speech or presentation?
The transcript is definitely losing the plot now. I'm guessing you're still talking about all right in some way, but I'm totally lost. What are you saying?
I'm saying, can all right start a speech or presentation?
I think the transcription is still hearing right instead of all right. Are you asking if all right would work in a speech, or are you actually moving on to talking about how right one?
Yeah, I'm kind of pushing that.
No need to be sorry, since we both got a bit lost in translation there. Do you want to try that question one more time?
Okay, my next question is, can it be used in professional meetings?
Yeah, but with some caveats. In a meeting, all right is perfect for keeping the flow moving, like when you're transitioning between agenda items or confirming a quick detail. It's a low pressure way to say, got it, moving on. But I wouldn't use it as a final answer to a big question from a boss. Instead of saying that's all right to a major concern, you'd probably want something with a bit more weight. Like, that's a fair point, or I've got that covered.
Okay, what are some synonyms of all right?
I think the transcript is playing tricks on us again. Do you mean synonyms for all right?
Yes.
Yeah, you've got a whole menu to choose from for something totally neutral. You can't go wrong with okay or satisfactory. If you're actually excited, you could go with great or fantastic. And when you're just trying to keep things moving without making a big deal out of it, right? Phrases like sounds good or works for me or perfect, depending on how you're feeling. Do any of those sound like a better fit than all right?
Okay. If all right is a word from English, what word would replace it?
Wait, what do you mean by disappear from English? Are you thinking about taking a break from the language, or are you moving on to a different topic?
No, Maya, I'm asking, if all right disappeared from English, what word would you replace it?
You're losing me again. I'm guessing the transcription is just having a total meltdown right now. I'm going to
Okay.
assume we're still talking about all right since it's the start of the show today. Do you want to take a break from this topic and just talk for a bit?
I still want to hold it.
Fair enough. I'm with you. What's next for the masterclass?
Okay, how do native speakers naturally use it?
That's a really interesting angle. People who are deaf or hard of hearing rely so much more on visual cues to get the meaning. Since all right is such a flexible phrase, I've heard that a lot of the meaning comes through facial expressions and the specific sign used. Does that make sense to you?
Okay, is it suitable for emails?
It works, but it's a bit like wearing a t-shirt to a business dinner. It's fine for a quick check-in with a coworker you're close with, like, all right, see you at 10. But for a client or a formal request, it can feel a little too breezy, like you're not taking the conversation seriously. In those cases, sounds good, or I've noted that usually lands a lot better.
Okay. How would an AI decide
Hmm.
what all right means in different contexts?
It's kind of like being a digital detective. I don't actually feel the mood, but I'm looking for patterns in the words around it. If someone says, I lost my keys, but it's all right, I know it's about acceptance. They say, the movie was all right. It's a lukewarm review. It's all about the clues left in the sentence.
Someone says, "All right, you win." What emotion does it express?
That's kind of the magic of a phrase like that. It can express so many things. If someone says, all right, after a long pause, it might actually be reluctance or defeat. But if they say it quickly, it's usually just a clean agreement. Since it's so versatile, how do you usually tell if someone is being genuine when they use it?
Can all right help keep conversation natural?
I'm following you now. I'm guessing the transcript is turning all right into right again. If you're asking how right helps a conversation keep moving, it's like the grease on the wheels. It lets you acknowledge someone and pivot without it feeling awkward. For example, if a conversation is lagging, a quick, all right, well, is the perfect way to shift gears without making the other person feel brushed off.
Okay, do you think alright is one of the most useful word in English? And why?
I think so. It's definitely in the top tier. When you can use one word for everything from a relief sigh to a courtroom win, that's a powerful tool.